Hello, everyone. So, there are a whole slew of new things that's going on in my life, and I just wanted to share them. So, right now, first off, I am testing a little mic extension on the camera that I have, on the phone that I have. That is a one directional mic, so hopefully, all of the noise that I can hear that's kind of loud after I'm done recording this, hopefully it'll still be pretty clear that you can just hear my voice instead of all of the traffic that's going on outside. So that's something that I'm testing out right now, but not as maybe exciting to everyone. The most exciting thing is that I am currently in Portugal. I am here for work. Some of my teammates are they live in Portugal. I came here to help onboard them and answer any questions they have about the project. And so that's what I'm doing here. But I am here for a little bit of extra time so that I can explore Portugal some on the weekends. So I'm also specifically I'm in Porto, Portugal. One of these weekends I'll be going to Lisbon, hopefully, and checking out the capital. This is some of my Airbnb that I have been living out of the past week ish. So it's pretty nice. It's got this cool. Ooh, that's really loud. Again, I don't know how well this thing works, so we'll find out. But there's these great. I'm up a few floors. Let's give the camera a few seconds to adjust. It's got this little. It's not really a balcony, but it's just like it's basically like the wall opens up, and or the giant windows open up. It's not the best view. Yesterday it was actually. Ooh, there we go. Yesterday was actually really, really loud and noisy because there's some sort of construction going on in like on the top of the building, and I had planned on making this video yesterday, but then I got out of the shower and there was this gigantic crane literally outside that window, directly. So I saw them do all this crazy stuff with. Breaking the actual crane down and these huge weights that they have on the back of the crane to act as a counterbalance, and it was a little cool, but at the same time it was really, really noisy, and the traffic was all screwed up because everybody had to go around this thing, and it was just a little crazy. So that was the thing that happened. For now, I think I'm just gonna close this door because I feel like maybe I'm shouting and maybe I don't need to. I don't know. Close that. There we go. All right, so it should be a little bit quieter, at least for me, and then I can hear myself think. So that's going on, traveling, totally unexpected. I wasn't really expecting to go to Portugal, but it happened. So here I am. So that's happening. In other news for me, just other updates, is that I've been able to get on a pretty good routine and a better balance between work and my own projects. So that has resulted in a lot more work in some of my own personal projects. I started work on an additional small project related to Pokemon Go, actually. It's like a tiny little app that will hopefully see the light of day in, I don't know, a week or two. It's been good because it's a smaller project and I should be able to see it to full completion. Whereas a lot of the other projects that I have are really, really big, and it can maybe feel not quite as fulfilling, I think. So that's cool. That's fun. It was just a little tool that I thought would be really useful to not only myself but other people, hopefully. And but I'll wait until it's actually out to share exactly what it is. But it's getting really close, so that's exciting. And speaking of Pokemon Go has been really, really awesome, just in general, because even if you don't play, or it's not like you're not that interested in the game itself, I've found it to be really, really useful in traveling. So I know I've mentioned this before, but maybe just in general. It's good for basically two different reasons when you're traveling. One is that you're playing this little game, and you're looking at a map, and it has all of these little markers on the map, and you can see what some of the important sites are there. And as you're playing it, I've found that for myself, I've been able to get a pretty good grasp of the city layout looking at this game, instead of just looking at like Google Maps or something. Google Maps is really useful, especially if you're looking for specific directions. But the thing about Google Maps is that it's really, really cluttered. There's a lot of stuff going on, and with Pokemon Go, it basically just there's two things in this regard. You're looking at the roads, and then you're also looking at little markers for sites, and that's it, besides the occasional Pokemon that pops up. But yeah, as far as the map goes, those are the two things that make it really useful as far as navigating the city that you're maybe not as familiar with, especially if you're prone to just wandering around like I am. I like to just walk around and sort of experience the city that way, as opposed to being all right, I gotta go on this tour, and I have to go and see this specific thing, and I don't know, I just kind of like existing in the area and wandering around. But so there's that thing, and then the other thing is that if there happens to be an event going on, or if you just happen to be walking around, has happened, both of those things have happened to me, where I was just walking around playing Pokemon Go, and somebody passed me by, and I had a small interaction with them because I was playing Pokemon Go, and so it opens up interactions that maybe wouldn't have happened otherwise, and so I think that's really fun. And the same thing with some of the events that they have in the game as well. I was here for one of the events, and I got to meet a few people that were also playing Pokemon Go because of that, and we walked around for a bit, and it wasn't anything crazy. It's not like we're best friends now or anything, but it was just cool. I enjoyed it. So yeah, I've really enjoyed Pokemon Go when traveling, so that's fun. If not anything else, and if you don't play, I would totally recommend checking the game out, just because I think those aspects of it are really neat. So I'm just gonna take a sip of this. They have it's not a Keurig, but it's same idea. And it came with they had all these pods set up and these really nice little espresso cups. So yeah. What else about Portugal? First of all, everything is made out of cork. They have cork houses and cork cars. It's kind of ridiculous. Not really, that's a joke. But there's a lot of cork stuff everywhere. I've been actually a little bit surprised at how, I went into one of those souvenir shops, and there's, they do actually have a lot of things made out of cork. There's cork, wallets and purses and hats, and I'm actually these hats don't look that bad. The only context that I'm ever familiar with cork is when excuse that messy bed, but whatever. Is just like, like bottle stoppers and like, I don't know, maybe like coasters or something. Like that's about it. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. So that's been fun. Something else. Oh, this is a bad. Ooh, that's better. You can actually see me. Now that I've stopped pacing. What else? So, in my other experiences here have been interesting. I decided that this is actually my first time traveling abroad on my own. I went to a few other places in Europe with my brother and sister-in-law, and then later met up with my sister and brother-in-law, and I wasn't really on my own. So this is the first international travel that I've done on my own. Even though I've been, traveling the U.S. on my own for a bit, it's not, it's not really the same because the whole language barrier. I feel really bad about. I probably shouldn't, but I always feel really bad about not speaking Portuguese whenever I try and interact with anyone. I should probably just not feel as bad. So because I think I would be better at communicating, I just wouldn't have that awkward layer in front of me whenever I go to interact with someone. So to get around to get away with not having as many awkward interactions, because mostly I am an introvert, in case you didn't know. I've been using, especially the first few days here, this is a little bit justified because the first few days here I just had a lot going on and I couldn't really spend that much time doing things. I got here, hit the ground running, still had to work, and there was this whole mess up with the flights too, which I'll share later. But I've been using Uber Eats here, which is very, very, I'm so thankful for that. It's very convenient. I barely need to talk to anyone. Basically, I just thank them for delivering the meal, and I don't have to worry about fumbling around with currency. It's all through the app and everything, so that's really cool. The other thing though is that I tried using this other app that was a little bit more geared towards groceries, because I was like, oh, that's gonna be annoying also, because we went to what was it, when I was in the Netherlands, we went to a grocery store there, and it all worked out. It was fine, everything. But even honestly, even if I was in America or there wasn't language kind of awkwardness, it would still kind of make more sense to do groceries through an app in some contexts anyway, if you can afford it, I guess. But because you have everything's there. You have a whole list of items, and you can more easily make sure that you have the right list. There are other apps that are specifically for list making, but then you have two apps, and I don't know. It's just kind of I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, so I tried out this app that I can't remember the name of, to be honest. Maybe I'll put an annotation somewhere over here with the name. Not super happy with it. It was a little bit weird too. I know that in the areas of America that I'm used to, if you go to a grocery store, it's very uncommon for there not to be something that you're searching for. But the guy that delivered the stuff that I had basically told me that half of the things that I put on the list they didn't have. So I just I wasn't charged for them, but I also didn't get them. So I got like hamburger buns, but like no hamburgers. So that was a little bit weird. But I got some things. Got a lot of oranges. Oranges are good for you. So that was a new experience that I had also, exploring this, using that kind of app in a country that I don't speak the language of. And yeah. So what else? So the flight thing. The flights, it was super, super smooth leaving America. I mean, I got through security like and nobody's business. It was really, really smooth. I had a really cool tiny interaction with the going through the security. There was a guy that like saw all of the pins that I have on my backpack. All these. And so, I've been picking up pins for each different country that I've gone to. And so he was like, "Oh, are these all the countries you've been to?" And I was like, "Yeah." It's like, it's pretty straightforward. Then he also saw I have another pin for the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and he was like, "Oh, like how many times have you seen it?" I was like, I don't know, but a lot. And I don't know. It was just like a fun interaction. I mentioned that they like do the Rocky Horror Picture Show in my town a lot, and I don't know. It was just nice. But anyway, so I go through that, and that's all smooth, and I have a layover, right? So it was the only way that I was able to get a reasonable price on such short notice. So I had a layover in Paris, and then from there, I'd come to Portugal. And so like a 7-hour flight, really long. And I do not enjoy it because I am never, ever, ever able to sleep on those things. I even tried bringing like a little mask so that I to cut out the light, and it helped. I was maybe able to like be like in that in-between state where you're like kind of asleep but not really, and I don't think I would have been able to do that without that mask, but it still wasn't really great. I just can't fall asleep very well sitting. And so 7-hour flight, super tired. I get off the plane. They take a shuttle from the plane to their airport building. We all get off, and first thing is just like a wall of people. There's literally nowhere else that I could have gone. Like they dump us out of the bus, and it's just a mass of people, not in a line. Can't see what's going on. Like there's so many people that I can't see what's going on way ahead. I couldn't even hear the person that I eventually found out was saying something all the way at the other end. That's how many people there were. And so I'm like, I have a connecting flight. Like I need to be on this plane in 2 hours from, and also I think the plane was slightly delayed. So I lost like 10 minutes. So it was like an hour and 15 minutes. I was like, still, if I hustle, I should be able to get through everything fine. I thought 2 hours was going to be okay. But, and I think under normal circumstances, it would have been, but something crazy was going on. For a second, I thought maybe it was like there was some sort of bomb threat or something like that. But when I found out that, or at least it appeared, unless they were like trying to hide it, it didn't seem like that was actually the case. It just seemed like they were crazy unorganized. So eventually I get all the way up to the point where I can hear the person that's on the other side of this mass of people, and they're speaking in French exclusively. It's one person, and they have everything roped off with like those little like rope things that you can, I don't know what they're really called. They're like seatbelt kind of material. You can just like hook them on real easy and hook them off. That's the only thing holding back all these people, and they're just like shouting in French over and over again. And I'm just like, I have no idea what's going on. And eventually I get up to the barrier, and there was one other person that came by, or like they switched out the person, and I asked, I was like, what is going on? And they were saying that there's so many people going through security right now that they need to only let a certain amount of people, and I could like see all of the people in line over there. And I was like, okay, well, I don't really understand why you don't just like let people line up for it, just period. Instead, they had this like weird barrier, like you could just see it over there. And I was like, well, it would, I think, make a lot of people a lot more comfortable if they were just able to be on a line instead of just in this mass of people just like bumping into each other. And it was like getting hot, and then they started only letting people through that had European visa, not visas. What the hell is the word I'm trying to think of? Passports. So that was a little bit annoying as well. You couldn't even. You'd think that. I don't know. It was all a huge mess. And then after they eventually let everybody through, I was online for so long going through security. And I even tried to tell them, I was like, look, like I have a flight that I'm trying to, if I don't get through this fast enough, I'm going to miss. And they didn't do anything about it. And, it took so long that it was like 20 minutes after my flight left that I even got through security. So that was kind of a pain. And then I went over to the, I had to track down the kiosk that was for the airline that I had booked with, and they were like, yeah, we can't do anything, sorry, you're just out of that money because you couldn't get to it. And I was like, yeah, but I couldn't do anything about that. It's just because the airline or the airport is so disorganized that like this doesn't make any sense. So that wasn't cool either. And the next flight that I was able to get wasn't for several hours after. So I kind of stuck around in the airport for a while, and so I wound up getting to Portugal really, really late. It was not super fun. It takes longer. This is a thing that I discovered. Gonna walk backwards. This is the thing that I discovered. Is that apparently it's a little shaky. Apparently, the way that it works for when you're traveling into Europe is that the main security happens right at the get-go, and not for your destination. And wait a minute. I'm going to try this. I'm going to put this little stand down here. I have this little like selfie stick with a stand. See how well this works. Ooh, maybe not so well. Oh! Okay, it's pretty imbalanced. I don't know if this is a good idea. Wait. No, it's not gonna work. Alright, anyway. So maybe this will work? Nah, whatever. I'll just hold it. So, the way that it works is that I can't hold this right. There we go. So the way that I presumed it would work is that you would go through security for whatever country your final destination was, because you've already gone through security to get onto the plane. And I thought that, well, I guess it doesn't really matter what I thought. It was wrong. So yeah, in the future, I think that if I have a connecting flight, I'm going to make sure that I have way more than 2 hours. Because even though that kind of seems like you shouldn't have to do that, it's probably a good idea. So lesson learned, I guess. But yeah, that's I think that's all I have to share about my travels. Also, yeah, I would love to like show like great shots of Portugal and everything, but I don't have time to edit videos because I have projects that I need to get to and everything. But hopefully one day I'll be able to make these videos more consistent, because I'll be able to figure out a way to optimize everything that I'm doing. And yeah, but for now, this is it, just the apartment. If you're really curious, you can look up photos or videos on Google or something. I'm sure there's plenty there, so it's not like I'd be contributing anything completely new. But yeah, I think the only other thing that I have to note is just again about the projects that I'm working on. I've picked up working on LifeNav again, and that's going really well. I've also picked up on working on the webcomic that I've been working on for a while. There was a sale going on for Vistaprint, and I made a bunch of t-shirts for all my major projects, and so I have those now. I will probably show those at a later time, maybe when I'm closer to getting those projects out. But it was just exciting to be able to have, a physical item with the logo of the projects that you're working on them. So yeah, that's really exciting. I'm really excited about that. Besides that, yeah, I'll be here for another week and a half or so, and then I will be back in America and figuring out what I'm gonna be doing. So yeah, lots of stuff. I feel like there's probably something I'm missing or forgetting, but oh well. That's why I should make more videos, so I don't feel like I have to download a whole crazy ton of stuff and feel like I'm missing something. But yeah, so that's it. Until next time. Don't know if the video will be probably not in Portugal anymore. Yeah. All right. Farewell.